Your Excellencies, I enjoyed your presentations. Yeah, you have a lot of experience on the international scene. Right now we're faced with a tragedy in Haiti. The reason I bring this up is because we've talked about the African diaspora. And as you well know, for over 200 years, since the independence of Haiti, 1804, when the slave revolt led to the defeat of portions of the Napoleon's army. And incidentally, there was a war going on in Europe at that particular time, and the slaves revolted and were successful. But since that time, we all know the history of Haiti. And right now, it is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I don't know whether people brag about that or complain about it. You know, sometimes it seems to me that they're proud of it, the people who quote that statistic. But my question to both of you is, what commitment does Africa have, if any, to the Haitian people? And what are your respective governments doing as a response?
Okay. From the historical perspective, the very fact that most of the Haitians predominantly come from African continent, that in itself is a tie. That's number one. Secondly, the very fact that when there were problems in Haiti in relation to the government of President Aristide, the AU and the SADC countries did intervene and did contribute to making sure that the stability of Haiti would not be compromised, in the sense that South Africa even helped to quell the situation. Let us have President Aristide go into exile in South Africa. That is a commitment, because had that not happened, probably the situation would not have been where it was had he left there, had he stayed there. It provided a little bit of a breathing space for the people of Haiti. What has happened in Haiti in terms of this natural disaster is a terrible natural disaster. We are fully behind, both morally and otherwise, behind the plight of the people in Haiti. Our individual governments have, in their own way, contributed and will contribute to the efforts that are being made to help the Haitian people through the non-governmental organizations, through those relief agencies that are responsible for providing aid, like, for instance, the Red Cross, Oxfam, and contribution to the UN initiatives of providing personnel for keeping law and order at different levels. So that is the kind of commitment that our countries are giving, some of them.
Could we characterize? Oh, yeah, no, I'd like you to respond.
Yes, I've not responded.
All right.
Yes, I think Nigeria in particular, even before the crisis, Nigeria has 18 policemen in Haiti assisting under the UN auspices. We have a contingent of about between 20 to 30 policemen in Haiti. And immediately when this incident took place, they wanted to find what has happened to them. That was first thing. Also, we also have...
I don't want to interrupt you, but what did happen? Before I forget
No, because all along, because we also have this assistance, what we call technical aid corps, which we give to developing countries from Africa, Caribbean, and the Pacific. So Haiti is also one of those areas we have been sending teachers, doctors, who are working in there to assisting them at the expense of Nigerian government, paid by Nigerian government. So when immediately this thing happened, it was a lot of worry and concern in Nigeria. But what happened to even Nigerian national that are there stationed in Haiti, in Haiti, even before this situation took place. So there's a lot of discussion in Nigeria at the moment that why was Nigeria delaying assistance immediately when this thing took place? Because what happened was, because our president is not in the country, taking medical treatment in Saudi Arabia, So, but then they did not stop them from making an action. I could also see that even even in the news today, they say that one of the countries in Africa, like Congo, sent the contingent and then assistance to Haiti. President Wade of Senegal was even saying that Africa collectively should find a territory that can resettle the Haitian people in Africa, because they are if the country is so devastated and prone to this kind of this. He was calling on other countries to designate a place in Africa to resettle the Haitian people. Yes. So I think they have done a lot in trying to make sure that this is their own people.
Were you ever able to find out what happened to the Nigerian nationals who were there?
Yes. They found that they were safe. Some of them, most of them are safe. And nothing happened to where they were operating, because I think the area where they are in a certain zone, that nothing happened to them.
Mm-hmm. You know, I would characterize the situation of the Haitians and many of the people in the African diaspora as benign neglect. You know, I'm a part of that diaspora. I'm from Detroit, but I listened to your presentations, and a lot of what you were saying in terms of poverty, lack of education, lack of opportunity, lack of jobs, lack of medical care, those conditions exist also in America to some degree, to one degree or another. And it also is a fact that those conditions also describe the plight of a lot of other people in the African diaspora. So what is it about our particular diaspora that leads to something like that?
Oh, I think there are a number of factors, completely number of factors. First of all is the situation that exists in the first place that makes us to be part of the diaspora. Those things that you have mentioned, poverty, lack of opportunities, etc., etc. Human rights, you name all those ills will contribute to people leaving their countries to go somewhere. That's number one, either for political reasons, for economic reasons, for social reasons, displaced people. Now, to compound that, when they get to the areas where they have immigrated to, they've faced tremendous challenges even there of integration, of acceptance, of being part and parcel of being recognized as an important aspect or asset for development. So they become marginalized also. So it becomes a vicious cycle. People live on their own to go there. They get to a point where they've immigrated to, and they're not accepted. And then when they go back, they're also not recognized as being part and parcel of the important. They say, you did live when it was bad. So they end up being psychologically and morally and otherwise devastated. They cannot identify themselves with any other place. So the issue of the diaspora, while they play an important role in terms of economics, in terms of remittances, their needs and requirements and challenges are enormous and huge. And they are not of their own making. They've got other factors from colonialism, from apartheid, from all economic, social, and others that have devastated them. It's not an easy thing, but it happens. And by the virtue of the fact that most of them are the ones that are vulnerable in their societies anyway, like the blacks in certain areas, like in the UK, in America, certain minority groups that you'll find that ones that are mostly will be the ones, or the poorer ones, women, children. They will be the ones that will migrate because they're vulnerable. And whatever they've been, if they can be vulnerable in their own countries, inevitably they will also be vulnerable in the countries where they go to. They'll be exploited.
I think the level of education of these people who come in, wherever they are, also determine the kind of quality of life they live. And it transcends on them, because you could see that there are like different classes of people in diaspora. And many of them the recent arrival, most of them are asylum seekers. And they're running from crisis in their countries and coming here uneducated, and when they come here to be able to integrate and go to good school, they don't have the means to do so. But the early one who came in immediately after independence or before independence, we came under scholarship, went to very good school, and therefore they will make a lot of contribution in where they live, wherever they are, and where you see them living, they live a different class of people. Then the idea of cultural shock, which is another different thing too. You come to an environment, culture is different, the language you have to learn, trying to find, to integrate, to find out find your left from your right. All these things contribute to the kind of marginalization they find themselves in. But as I said, there are different classes. And we find those who are well educated integrate very easily, quite the same fine. As the ambassador said, even to us who are now an ambassador, we go back to our country, we even find it difficult to even integrate because the way they are doing things is quite different from us. So we find ourselves isolated somehow, like an island. We're in our own country. So this is because of the kind of community in which they live abroad or wherever they are. So this is the difference. Even with our own children, they find it very difficult to integrate. Even where either in Europe or to be in, and the languages of the people is not. You know, my children don't even speak my local language. They call my local language that is a mother's language. Well, they believe that English is their language. So these are they find it difficult to integrate, to be able to see. So these are some of the difficulty both from there and here.
You know, you guys have had a long day. I'll let you
Yes.
go. But just one observation from me. I'm from Detroit, as I said, and I never really, imagined that I would be sitting somewhere talking to two ambassadors from one ambassador from the Seychelles and one from Nigeria. And Lesotho, excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that mistake. But nonetheless, two ambassadors from Africa representing representing your countries in Germany, and it is a sobering experience, believe me. And to see the developments, and I'm 62, and I don't know if you guys are younger or older than me. Yeah, but we've seen a lot, and we've also seen in the last year or so some things we thought we would never see, I would imagine, with the election of Obama as the president. And I would like to commend you on your service and on your continued work and guidance and counsel to young people. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.